Welcome back to Us Mint Mysteries. Tonight, we're diving into the shadowy world of ultra-rare Double Die Wheat Pennies coins that look ordinary to most people, but to collectors, they could be worth a life-changing fortune. Imagine finding a single penny in an old jar, only to discover it could sell for hundreds of thousands, even close to $500,000. Yes, you heard me right. These tiny copper pieces have shocked collectors, stunned auction houses, and turned everyday pocket change into unbelievable treasure. And in this video, we're counting down 5 of the rarest Double Die Wheat Pennies you might just have hiding in your collection. Make sure you hit that subscribe button right now, because you don't want to miss what's coming up. Now, let's begin with the coin that hides a shocking secret, the 1946S Double Die Wheat Penny. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary penny from the post-war years, when America was just beginning to rebuild. But take a closer look, and you'll notice something fascinating. The San Francisco Mint struck this coin, and some examples left the presses with the rare and dramatic doubling on the obverse. That doubling is the key to turning a simple copper coin into a collector's dream. Picture this: the date, the letters of Liberty, even parts of the motto, "In God We Trust," showing crisp, visible doubling. To the average eye, it might look like a small blur or shadow, but to trained collectors, that little detail can send shockwaves through the value chart. These coins were minted in large numbers, yes, but only a tiny fraction carry this double die error. That makes them rare. And rarity always equals value. The coin we're looking at today is in fine condition. That means it shows clear wear from circulation. The wheat stalks on the reverse are flattened, Lincoln's cheek and jaw show smoothness, and overall it looks like a penny that has seen plenty of hands. But even in this lower grade, the doubling makes it special. A collector might pay several $100s, even over $1,000, for a circulated example if the doubling is dramatic and easily visible. But here's where it gets jaw-dropping. Move up into uncirculated territory. Coins that have somehow survived nearly 80 years without wear. In mint state condition, with sharp detail and full red luster, this 1946S Double Die can rocket past $50,000, $75,000, even crossing the $100,000 mark when bidding wars break out. That's the kind of money that leaves collectors stunned, asking themselves, how can a penny be worth this much? And for the rarest high-grade specimens with the boldest doubling, we're talking values climbing into the six-figure range. $250,000 or more isn't impossible when the right buyers compete. Imagine that a single penny from your change jar, or tucked away in an old cigar box, suddenly worth more than a brand new luxury car. It's shocking, isn't it? And yet, it happens. Collectors crave these dramatic double dies because they're a mistake that slipped through the mint's quality control. Every one is like a fingerprint of history, a reminder of the imperfections in the minting process. And that imperfection, ironically, is what makes them so perfect for collectors. So, how do you spot one of these treasures? Look carefully at the date, the 1946S, and pay close attention to Liberty and "In God We Trust." If you see strong, clear doubling, you just might be holding a fortune. A magnifying glass is your best friend here, because the details can be subtle. Many people overlook them, thinking the coin is just worn or damaged. But a real double die has that unmistakable doubled outline, and once you've seen it, you'll never forget it. Now, here's the part that gives me chills. Most of these are still out there. They weren't recalled, they weren't melted down. They simply circulated. That means jars of wheat pennies sitting in basements, shoeboxes passed down from parents or grandparents, or even rolls of pennies at the bank could still hide one. And you could be the lucky person to find it. The 1946S Double Die Wheat Penny is living proof that treasures hide in plain sight. Even in fine condition, it's a coin that demands respect, with values that make collectors' eyes light up. But the upper end, the pristine, uncirculated survivors, those are the coins that turn everyday people into legends. Imagine holding a penny worth nearly $500,000. The thrill of knowing you've uncovered one of America's rarest copper secrets. And the best part, this is just the beginning, because the next coin on our list makes the 1946S look like pocket change. Next up, we come to one of the most legendary coins in all of US history, the 1955 Double Die Wheat Penny. If there's one coin that has sent shockwaves through the collecting world for decades, it's this one. Even people who know nothing about coins have heard whispers of the famous 1955 Double Die. It's a coin that made newspaper headlines, stunned collectors, and still makes hearts race whenever one appears at auction. At first glance, it looks like any other wheat penny from the mid-1950s, but lean in closer, and the error jumps out like lightning. The date, 1955, looks almost doubled by hand. The words, "Liberty and in God we trust," show dramatic, bold doubling that no magnifying glass is needed to see. It's so strong, so unusual, that even a casual glance can reveal it. This wasn't a tiny mistake, this was a full-blown minting blunder that somehow slipped through. The story goes that late one night at the Philadelphia Mint, a working die was misaligned during production. Instead of being scrapped, coins were struck and mixed into circulation. By the time the error was discovered, thousands had already been released. Some estimates suggest 20,000 to 24,000 examples entered circulation before the mistake was caught. That's not many when you think about the millions of pennies minted that year. And that scarcity, combined with the jaw-dropping doubling, is what makes this coin so valuable. Now, let's talk about condition. The coin we're focusing on here is in fine condition, which means it's clearly circulated. Lincoln's cheek and coat are worn, the wheat stalks on the back are flattened, and overall the surfaces show plenty of use. But here's the shocking part, even in this lower grade, collectors are willing to pay thousands. A fine condition 1955 double die can bring $1,500, $2,000, even upwards of $3,000 depending on eye appeal. That's right, a penny that looks well worn, still commanding the kind of price tag you'd expect from rare gold. Step up into higher grades, though, and things get truly unbelievable. An uncirculated example with full red luster, sharp strike, and dramatic doubling can skyrocket in value. Auction records show prices pushing past $50,000, $75,000, even over $125,000 when the coin is pristine. And for the absolute best of the best, coins that look like they were struck yesterday, graded by the top services, values have climbed into the $250,000 to $350,000 range. That's $250,000 for a single cent that slipped through the mint by mistake. Think about that for a second. You could find one of these in an old collection, tucked away by a grandfather who saved wheat pennies just because they were copper. To him, it was just a jar of change. To you, it could be a life-changing discovery. That's the magic of coin collecting, everyday objects suddenly becoming treasures beyond belief. And here's something that adds to the thrill: these coins are still out there. Stories surface every year of lucky finds in old rolls, estate sales, and inherited boxes of wheat pennies. The 1955 double die has become a symbol of hidden treasure in plain sight, and every collector dreams of uncovering one. So, how do you spot one? The good news is, it's easy. Unlike many errors, this doubling is so bold, it jumps right out. If you see a 1955 penny and the date or motto looks blurry or doubled, don't dismiss it. That could be a coin worth more than your car, more than your house, maybe more than your retirement savings. This is why collectors chase the 1955 double die like no other. It's not just a coin, it's a legend, a story frozen in copper, a mistake turned into one of the most desirable coins in US history. Even in fine condition, it carries a shocking value that leaves people shaking their heads in disbelief. And in top grades, it transforms from a penny into a fortune. So keep your eyes sharp, because you never know when this legendary coin might turn up in the most ordinary of places. The 1955 double die is proof that 1 cent can truly be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Moving forward, let's talk about a coin that often flies under the radar, but has the power to shock collectors when it shows its true face: the 1951 Double Die Wheat Penny, struck at the Denver Mint. This coin might not have the fame of the 1955, but it carries a mystery that makes it a hidden treasure for those who know what to look for. and the values it commands can leave even seasoned collectors speechless at first glance. The 1951D looks like any other wheat cent from the early 50s Lincoln on the obverse. Those classic wheat stalks on the reverse. But what sets it apart is the doubling. On known examples, you can see dramatic doubling on the lettering, especially around Liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," and sometimes even on the date itself. The Denver Mint mark, that little d below the date, can also show signs of repunching or doubling, adding to the fascination. Now, here's where things get interesting. The Denver Mint produced over 625 million wheat pennies in 1951. That's a staggering number, but within that flood of copper, a small pocket of double die errors slipped through. We don't know exactly how many survived, but the rarity is obvious when you look at auction results. Collectors will fight tooth and nail for these pieces, because they're not just ordinary pennies, they're mistakes frozen in time. The coin we're focusing on today is in fine condition. That means it's circulated. Lincoln's jawline is worn, the fields are smooth, and the wheat stalks on the back have lost their sharp detail. Normally, a worn wheat penny from the 50s might only be worth a few cents, but when you add in the double die factor, the story changes completely. Even in fine condition, a 1951D double die can bring hundreds, sometimes well over $1,000, if the doubling is bold and clear. Think about that, a penny worth pennies suddenly selling for more than a month's rent. But the true shock comes at the higher grades. When you find one in uncirculated condition, with bright luster and no signs of wear, the values explode. These can reach into the tens of thousands, $25,000, $50,000, even $75,000 depending on the strength of the doubling and the coin's eye appeal. And in those rare, top-graded specimens that combine bold doubling with fiery red copper surfaces, values have stretched past $150,000. That's a fortune for a coin most people overlook as ordinary pocket change. What makes the 1951D double die so exciting is that it's still hiding in collections across America. People who hoarded wheat pennies back in the day, especially from the 1950s, might have jars or rolls filled with them. Imagine going through a dusty coffee can of old coins and spotting that telltale doubling. One moment, you're holding a penny worth 1 cent. The next moment, you're holding a down payment on a house, and spotting one isn't impossible. Look carefully at the lettering, especially Liberty. If the letters look doubled, thick, or slightly shadowed, you may have struck gold. A magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe makes it easier, but the doubling on strong examples is bold enough that even the naked eye can catch it. This is why double dies are so addictive to collectors. They remind us that perfection was never guaranteed at the mint. Machines misaligned, dies shifted, and errors escaped into circulation. Every one of those mistakes turned into a rarity. And the 1951D double die is one of the best kept secrets of the wheat penny series. So don't dismiss those ordinary pennies from the 50s, because when you know what to look for, the 1951D can transform from spare change into a shocking treasure worth tens of thousands. Even in fine condition, it's a coin that demands respect. But at the top end of the scale, it's the kind of discovery that leaves you breathless, shaking your head in disbelief. And if you think this one is impressive, just wait. The next coin on our list pushes the limits of rarity and value even further, proving once again that a single cent can change everything. Now, let's travel back a full century, to a coin that carries one of the most dramatic stories in American numismatics, the 1922 Double Die Wheat Penny. This isn't just a rare coin. It's a mystery, a mistake, and a masterpiece of collecting history, all rolled into one tiny copper cent. And even in fine condition, it's the kind of piece that makes collectors stop in their tracks. The 1922 penny was struck only at the Denver Mint, that's right. No Philadelphia or San Francisco issues exist. Every single cent from this year bears the Denver D, but here's the shocking twist. On certain dies, the mint mark was either weakly struck, doubled, or appeared missing altogether. Combine that with doubling on the obverse details and suddenly, you have a coin that doesn't just look unusual, it looks almost impossible. Collectors call these no D or double die varieties, and they're among the most famous and desirable errors in the entire wheat penny series. Picture holding one in fine condition. The surfaces are worn, Lincoln's hair is smooth, and the wheat stalks on the back are flat. Yet the details that matter, the doubling, the strange mint mark anomaly, are still there, making this worn penny a true rarity. And here's the part that makes jaws drop. Even in this low grade, collectors will pay thousands. A fine condition 1922 double die can bring $3,000, $5,000, sometimes even over $7,500 depending on how strong the error shows. That's a staggering amount for a coin that most people would assume is just a common copper cent. But the story doesn't end there. Move into higher grades, and the value climbs like a rocket. In extremely fine condition, these coins can reach into the tens of thousands. In mint state, with sharp detail and original luster, the price tag explodes past $100,000. And for those ultra-rare, fully red examples, with dramatic doubling and a sharp strike, auction records have stretched toward $500,000. Imagine that a single 1922 penny worth more than most homes in America. What makes this coin so valuable isn't just the doubling, it's the history. 1922 was a tough year for the Denver Mint, with worn-down dies and production issues. The mint was under pressure to churn out coins quickly, and quality control slipped. That slip gave us one of the greatest rarities of the wheat cent series. It's a story of imperfection turning into perfection, and a mistake becoming a masterpiece. And collectors can't get enough of it. Now, spotting one is tricky, but not impossible. If you ever come across a 1922 penny, look closely at the mint mark. If the D looks doubled, weak, or missing altogether, and the obverse shows signs of doubling in the date or motto, you might just be holding one of the most valuable pennies of all time. A magnifying glass is essential, because these details can be subtle, but once you recognize it, the thrill is unforgettable. Think of it this way, there are millions of ordinary 1922 wheat pennies still floating around. Most are worth only a few cents, but hidden among them, tiny fraction carry this dramatic error. And when one surfaces, it's not just another coin, it's a discovery that can change a collector's life. The 1922 double die is living proof that rarity, history, and error all combine to create explosive value. Even worn down in fine condition, it commands thousands. In top mint state grades, it commands hundreds of thousands. And the legend it carries makes it one of the most talked about coins in US mint history. And the best part, we're not finished yet. Because the final coin on our list is so rare, so valuable, that it pushes the boundaries of what a single wheat penny can be worth. Stay with me, because this last one will leave you absolutely stunned. And now, we arrive at the grand finale, the very first year of the wheat cent, 1909, and one of the rarest treasures of them all, the 1909's Double Die Wheat Penny. This coin combines everything collectors dream of: history, rarity, and an error so powerful that it transforms a humble cent into a six-figure masterpiece. Let's set the stage. The wheat penny series began in 1909, replacing the Indian head cent, and it carried a bold new design by Victor David Brenner. On the obverse, President Abraham Lincoln's portrait appeared for the very first time on a U.S. coin. On the reverse, two wheat stalks framed the words, 1 cent. It was a patriotic, fresh design to honor the centennial of Lincoln's birth. And at the San Francisco Mint, only a fraction of the coins bore that tiny S mint mark below the date. Fewer than 2,000,1909 cents were struck, making them scarce from the very start. But among those scarce coins, a few were struck from a die that was misaligned, and those coins show clear signs of doubling. On examples of the 1909's double die, the date, the letters in Liberty, and even parts of In God We Trust appear doubled. It's not faint, it's bold enough to grab attention. And that error turns an already scarce coin into something truly spectacular. Now, the one we're considering today is in fine condition. That means it's circulated, the wheat stalks are worn, Lincoln's cheek is smooth, and the details aren't razor sharp. But here's the jaw drop, in fine grade. This coin is worth thousands. A 1909S double die in this condition can sell for $5,000, $7,500, even $10,000 depending on the strength of the doubling. That's the kind of money that makes collectors lean forward, wide-eyed, realizing they may have overlooked something extraordinary in their own collections, and as we move up the grading scale, the value climbs into the stratosphere. In extremely fine or about uncirculated condition, this coin can command $25,000 to $50,000. In mint state, with full luster and a sharp strike, we're talking about $100,000 to $200,000. And at the very highest levels, the rare, pristine examples that combine bold doubling with fiery red surfaces values have crossed into the $400,000 to $500,000 range. Imagine that. $500,000 for a penny struck over a century ago, simply because of a small mistake at the San Francisco Mint. What makes this coin so legendary isn't just the doubling, but the year itself. 1909 marks the birth of the Wheat Penny series, and collectors have chased these coins for generations. Add in the San Francisco's mint mark, the low mintage, and the dramatic double die, and you have a perfect storm of rarity and desirability. This is the kind of coin that turns up in major auction headlines, the kind of coin collectors whisper about, and the kind of coin that can change someone's life overnight. Now, how do you spot one? Look carefully at the obverse. The doubling is clearest on the date and the word, Liberty. The letters will look thick, shadowed, or doubled. A magnifying glass will help, but strong examples are bold enough to see with the naked eye. If you ever come across a 1909S penny, never dismiss it. Examine it closely, because what looks like an old, worn copper cent could be one of the most valuable errors in U.S. history. Think about the possibility for a moment. This coin has been out there for more than 100 years. Many were tucked away by collectors, but others stayed in circulation for decades. Some ended up in jars, drawers, or boxes passed down from generation to generation. Right now, one could be sitting in someone's attic, forgotten, and then one day, discovered, and suddenly, that family is holding a penny worth a small fortune. The 1909S Double Die Wheat Penny is the crown jewel of this list, a coin that embodies everything exciting about coin collecting. Even in fine condition, commands respect with values in the thousands. In top condition, it transforms into a treasure worth nearly $500,000. It's living proof that history, rarity, and error combine to create legends, and that brings us full circle. From the 1946S to the legendary 1955, from the hidden gems of the 1951D and the mysterious 1922, all the way to the iconic 1909S double die, these 5 pennies show us that the smallest coin in your hand can carry the biggest surprises. So the next time you see a wheat penny, don't pass it by. Look closely, because you just might be holding a fortune. And if you enjoyed this journey into the rarest double die wheat pennies, make sure you're subscribed to us Mint Mysteries, because the next discovery we uncover could change the way you see your change forever.